Hello humans, it's just Martine and welcome to the start of another weekly reading vlog. I'm currently still visiting family in Canada and I immediately have two books to talk to you about, so that is good news. The first is a nonfiction, the second is a science fiction, so let's get straight into it. Michaela always walks in when I'm filming these clips. I'm sorry. Okay, so the first book is All the Gold Stars, which is a book about ambition and how we see ambition, and also about like burnout and capitalism in society and how things are stupid and we're all miserable, but we don't need to be. And I really enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars. It was slow at parts, but I really loved the message and there were so many good quotes. I mean, my library copy was highlighted out the wazoo, so that was a good time. And then I finally finished Leviathan Wakes. Woo! Michaela's cheering, you can't see her. Leviathan wakes, but Martine sleeps, except when she didn't, on the road to the lake for the day, where I actually finally finished Leviathan Wakes, which I'm giving 4 stars. I enjoyed it a lot. I think it's set up for a really interesting series. At first, I was really overwhelmed with all the characters, but I got to know them pretty quick. It helped that about half the characters we met initially soon were irrelevant. If you know, you know. But yeah, I haven't read like a chunky sci-fi that I could dig into in a while, and it was just good. It was good. I had fun. If you don't know, Leviathan Wakes is the first book in the Expanse series, which is also a television show, and it's basically about this crew 1 and then this detective 2, and weird stuff is happening in outer space. Yippee. Michaela, does that sound like an interesting synopsis?
I don't read a lot of sci-fi, but pretty good, yeah.
Great. So those are the 2 books I've read so far. I'm gonna get back to family time, but I'll let you know when I read something else, and you'll probably see lots of weird and random B-roll with no context given, so enjoy.
Take a look out the window. Spirit goes up as the rain falls down. I've been sailing on the wrong course, keeping it together like I did before. Think that I've said this a few times. Even with that, has it ever felt right? I swear that this has happened every moment. Can I just be honest? I was only wondering, and maybe we could take it to a different conversation. Things will get uncomfortable, but only if we make it. I just wanna say that, but you'd rather take it all back. Although you are sunlight, you stay in the shade. I'm dancing in a corner just to get a space, cause I wanna believe that. Ooh, I get lost, you go with your day. Slowly get closer, but you're moving away. I know it's just a recap, but I'm sure you'll never see that. Rather take it all back. Maybe it's time to get home. Think that it's going a little too far, even after all the white noise. Oh, I still wanted to restart. Give all you're taking my time.
Come here. Come here, Ernie. Ernest. Ernie. Wow, hello, hi, I'm home, and I have things to catch you up on. The first is actually a book haul, because the last day in Canada for the trip, I went thrifting, and so I got some books, and I'm going to share them with you now. First, we went to Value Village, which I've never been to Value Village, so this was my first time, and to be honest with you, the book selection was good, but I did not find it to truly be value. You know what I mean? Because you'll see, okay, the price differential was just so big from that to the next thrift store I went to, where all the books I got from the next thrift store ended up being 50 cents. It was because of a sale, but still. And so these just felt more expensive when they were like $4 or $5. From Value Village, first I got a 1,000 page Archie comic blowout. I almost got Archie comics in French, but since I haven't actually read any Archie comics and this also had more page count, I found this to be a better deal because it was the same price. It was $150. So yeah, I'm gonna give Archie comics not even just a little bit of a shot, but a pretty big shot. And then I also found the Granta book of the African short story which is written by a ton of different authors from Africa all across the continent. And this was $7, and I just felt like it would be a great addition to my collection, and I'm really stoked to read it. And then at the next thrift store, I got 5 books, each for 50 cents. I'll save my favorite find for last. Okay, so first I got Lorna Doone, which my sister was like the cookie Lorna Doone, and I'd never heard of Lorna Doone cookies, but apparently that's a thing, and this is also apparently a classic historical high adventure book. So I was like, interesting, and it's 50 cents. So I got that. Then I got 2 Orson Scott Card books. Because unfortunately, even though I don't like him as a person, I find his writing to be fascinating like most of the time. So first I got Seventh Son, and I don't really know what this is about. It's about an alternate frontier America with folk magic, I guess. And then I got Past Watch The Redemption, which I think is a take on Christopher Columbus and altering human history. So I guess both are like early America inspired, which is weird, and considering some of his views, I'm a little worried about these, but that also made them all the more intriguing. So yeah, I got that. And then I got The God of Small Things, which I've been wanting to read for a while, and I can't tell you why because I don't know what it's about. So I got that for 50 cents. I saw it and I was like, yes, this, I'm getting it. And then I found a copy of The Adventure of Sherlock Holmes, but in French. So for 50 cents, I get to read some French Sherlock Holmes. Again, familiar stories. This is going to be such a gem in my collection, so I'm super, super excited about having this. Those were the books I got. Those were my Canadian souvenirs, as it were, along with some all-dressed chips and some sweet chili Takis, because those don't exist in the States, so yeah. And then on the way back, I did read some books, so I'm going to talk to you about them. First, on my last day in Canada, I really busted through the last like 3.5 hours of Jade War to finish it. I'm giving it 4 stars, which is what I gave the first book as well. I was buddy reading this with Bailey. I started it on the car on the way up, and I did not want to read it on the car on the way back, even though I was enjoying it. I wanted to read some of the other books I brought, so I finished it up. This is a fantasy series, but it's one that I follow and understand and therefore like, because that's usually my main problem with fantasy series. There is some fighting, but no huge battle sequences, which is another fantasy problem I often have. This was an interesting second book, and I'm ready for the third. I did get hurt a couple times in this, but like, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be in that department. And then my sister lent me her copy of Chain of Gold because she's been wanting me to read this Shadowhunter series basically since she read it, because, okay, she hasn't finished the original series, and she started the Clockwork series. But then she's read this whole series now, including the newest one, and this is her favorite set of characters, and also since it's Cassandra Clare's most recent, it's probably her best work. You get better at writing as you do it more. So I read this, I gave it 4 stars. That's also the same rating my sister gave it, so far we're seeing pretty eye to eye in the series. In this one, we're following Cordelia Carstairs, who's the niece of Jem, who's my favorite Shadowhunters character of all time, end of story. And then we're also following Lucy and James Herondale, Will Herondale's kids. I had my problems with Will Herondale in the Clockwork trilogy, but he also had his reasons for being problematic, so it's like, but that was interesting seeing their family dynamic, and I don't really know what the point of this specific trilogy is going to be. I guess, yeah, I do, because I read the first chapter of the next one. So it's mainly focused on, like, the Herondales' ancestry. Not Will Herondale's ancestry, but, like, James and Lucy Herondale, because their mom is a warlock. Yep, okay. Don't want to give spoilers for other series. So there's that. And then I finished 2 ebooks, both of them today. This morning, first, I finished Role Playing, which was my Amazon first reads from last month, so I think it came out this month, and I gave it 4.5 stars. It started kind of slow, but then there was some surprise queerness, and overall, I really liked the characters and the story, and it was great. Like, I was reading it like 5% at a time, and then last night we were in the hotel, and it was already getting pretty late, and then I read 25% of it. So, in this one, we were following 2 characters, and they kind of meet in an online video game guild thing. They're in their late 40s, early 50s. There was a big misunderstanding about their ages in there, so they don't even realize they're the same age, basically, and then eventually they meet in real life, and things kind of go from there. But they're pretty interesting characters. So we have like a burly cinnamon roll type for the main male character, and then for the main female character, we have kind of a like sharp, sarcastic, once scorned woman, if you will. So I found that to be great and excellent, and I don't really want to spoil some of the things that I feel like are spoilers in this that involve the representation, so you'll just have to read it for yourself, I suppose. And then I finished Something More, which is a YA contemporary book about this girl. Her family's Palestinian, but she was born in Canada, so I partially read it while I was in Canada, which was fun. And she's been recently diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder. This is own voices for the author for both being Palestinian and Canadian, but also the autism representation. I'm giving it 3 stars. I was just really annoyed by the love triangle because in this, so she gets her diagnosis and then she's starting high school and she starts falling for this boy, and I didn't care about him at all, and I felt like he was not good news, and from the start I just didn't like him. And then she was obsessed with him for like the entire book. The other character, who was way better, deserved more from that, but it's okay. Like, it ended fine, and it was a pretty fun, easy read. It was an easy read. So that was what all happened on the last day in Canada, and then in the car on the way back. And now we're home, and it's Friday, and there are books all over my bed.
Feels like I'm patiently waiting in line. So can we ever have another moment? Can you just be honest? I was only wondering if maybe we could take it to a different conversation. Things will get uncomfortable, but only if we make it. I just wanna say that still you'd rather take it over.
Hello, and just like that, I'm back here, and I have 2 books to talk to you about that I finished today. One I finished on my flight, but I've been reading it for a couple days, and that is The Bees. And I would like to thank Ruby from Ruby Red for this recommendation, because I was really sad that I couldn't read Pod by the same author because my library doesn't have it, and she was like, there's this other book, it's from the perspective of bees, and my library did have it, so I downloaded it right away and read it and enjoyed it thoroughly. 4 stars. I don't know what to tell you, except this book is from the perspective of bees, and it's well researched. Not that I know anything about bees, but you know, there's that. And I in fact found the ending so intriguing that this was the first time I've ever successfully read through an entire flight, so I appreciated that. And then I finished listening to the audiobook for The Vanishing Stair by Maureen Johnson, which is the 2nd book in the Truly Devious series. We did get some answers that we didn't get in the first one. I think I read the first one in like my last vlog or something, but still not all the answers. So I put the 3rd book on hold, whatever, we're working through it. I'm giving this a 3.5, which is half a star less than I gave the first book. Getting to learn about Ellingham Academy was super fun in the first one, and so having already had it established like kind of took away from this one, and also I had to listen to it on audiobook, which almost inherently decreases my enjoyment of any book. But I did pay pretty good attention to this one, and also actually rewound when I felt like I had missed something, which I almost never do, and I definitely never do if I'm not really enjoying the book. So that was a good sign. This is a mystery series set at this weird boarding school. That's all I have to tell you about it. So yeah, that's going to end off this vlog here because it's Sunday. I keep forgetting it's Sunday, but it is. So if you like this video, go ahead and give it a big thumbs up and comment down below what's a book that's written from a weird perspective. Give me more recommendations. I liked The Bees. And subscribe for more reading, writing, and college lifestyle content. And until next time, bye humans, bye!